WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange could soon be a free man without ever spending time in a U.S. prison. He traveled to a U.S. court in the Northern Mariana Islands where he pleaded guilty to a single charge for his role in one of the largest ever breaches of classified U.S. government material. In exchange, U.S. prosecutors will count the 5 years he spent in a London prison as time served, meaning no prison time in the U.S. Julian Assange is free. WikiLeaks releasing a statement today saying after 1,901 days in maximum security prison and nearly 14 years detained, he was granted bail. He boarded a plane and departed the UK.
He's not quite home yet. He has to get through a few more hurdles before he's safe and sound on Australian soil, so we've got all our fingers and toes crossed, hoping that that all goes smoothly.
A federal judge in the Northern Mariana Islands set a plea hearing and sentencing for Wednesday morning. Justice Department prosecutors had asked the court for the proceedings to take place on the same day because Assange was resistant to setting foot in the continental U.S. for his guilty plea.
We will be seeking a pardon, obviously.
Assange's wife saying the guilty plea under the Espionage Act is a serious concern for journalists.
Regardless of what this means for Mr. Assange, it's terrible for the United States. This prosecution should not have happened. This is the first time in the 100-year history of the Espionage Act that a journalist or someone committing journalism, someone engaging in journalistic act, has been prosecuted under the Espionage Act.
The court on the islands where Assange will appear tomorrow is near Australia, where Assange is a citizen and is expected to return to after the court hearing.
Regardless of the views that people have about Mr. Assange's activities, the case has dragged on for too long. There's nothing to be gained by his continued incarceration, and we want him brought home to Australia.
The computer programmer and WikiLeaks founder first grabbed headlines in 2010 when WikiLeaks released highly classified information. First, a U.S. military video showing a helicopter mistakenly gunning down 2 journalists and several Iraqi citizens in 2007. Next, the release of tens of thousands of classified military documents related to the war in Afghanistan. Documents on the Iraq War followed. Then the leak of cables from U.S. embassies and diplomatic missions around the world. Assange claimed his mission was to shine a light on evidence of war crimes and abuses of power.
And that's how people can really understand what is actually going on and whether they choose to support it or not.
Spiegel, 17 pages.
As the world watched for WikiLeaks' next move in November 2010, Sweden opened an investigation into allegations of sexual assault against Assange and issued an international arrest warrant for his extradition. Assange denied the allegations, claiming it was retribution for his political work and orchestrated to pave the way for his extradition to the U.S. He turned himself in to London police and was later released on strict bail conditions. Then, in an unexpected twist, he entered the Ecuadorian embassy in London in 2012 and was granted political asylum.
A courageous Latin American nation took a stand for justice.
Still, Assange was able to reveal details that rocked the 2016 U.S. presidential campaign.
WikiLeaks! I love WikiLeaks!
WikiLeaks published hacked emails from DNC staffers and presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's campaign. Over time, his relationship with his host soured. Ecuador revoked his asylum in 2019, and London police arrested him on an extradition warrant from the U.S. Justice Department to face a conspiracy charge. 17 new counts under the Espionage Act followed. Assange was sentenced to prison for violating his 2010 bail conditions and spent 5 years fighting extradition to the U.S., mostly isolated at a high-security prison.
When I was speaking to him, I said, well, we can go for a walk, and there will be no restrictions, no curfew, all this it's so alien to the way it's been until now for the past 14 years.
2 years ago, he married his lawyer and mother of his 2 children, Stella Morris, inside jail. WikiLeaks writing today, as he returns to Australia, we thank all who stood by us, fought for us, and remained utterly committed in the fight for his freedom. Julian's freedom is our freedom.